All right, some of the best ideas come in the shower. And this thought prompt today came in the shower. And I'm really excited to talk about it with Suzanne today because I want to pick her brain on some of these things. And so this conversation is about communication. And it's about us, I think most humans, we've been taught, oh, there's a reaction and there's a response. So we kind of try to slow ourselves down. So if we're upset by someone, we're not yelling at them. I mean, there's still a lot of us that don't do that, but that is not my point today. But so just a little background. I didn't learn communication skills growing up. And I started teaching them to myself by reading books in my early 40s. And so I started gathering information. How do you communicate in ways that overcome some of the challenges that relationships bring? So I went through that piece, and then I was introduced as I was working and managing people this concept called nonviolent communication. Now, many of us have heard of that before. And I'm just going to go over it briefly because the call is not real. The conversation is not really about nonviolent communication, but I just want to talk about it because it's a good tool. And I taught it to a lot of the women that I worked with, especially when they were having relationship challenges and they had never slowed down long enough to even walk through the process of nonviolent communication. Here's what it is. It's just 4 steps, and there are basically 4 questions you ask yourself. You do this on your own. And I think the first step is the hardest, and it's really what happened and what happened in the situation. It's an objective, factual thing. And most of us, when our what happened is usually got a lot of emotion and distortion. And so it's learning to just look at a situation and go, oh, that's just what happened. Um, and then you name what you feel. So now you're seeing the feeling that is arising that's going with that. It's not an interpretation, though. A lot of people will say they're feeling and it's just an interpretation. So people often don't even know what that means. So they get in touch with, okay, I felt this. And then the next question is, what is your need? What is the need regarding this situation? And then the last part is request. So then you can approach that other human and make a request. So I'll just give you an example. Say this is a work example. Say you're at work, and you called and left a message to a co-manager because you want to address an issue and it's kind of a pertinent issue, and they just ignored you the rest of the day. They didn't call you back. So the fact is, they didn't return your call. That's it. There's nothing more to it. How it made you feel, it might have made you feel frustrated because you wanted to deal with it, or maybe it made you feel disappointed because you really wanted to resolve that issue. And then the need. What's the need? I have a need for communication over this. And so, what would the request be? The request could be, are you able to respond to me within this 24-hour period so we can resolve this? That's it. It's very simple. And then that person can do whatever they want. Yes, no. And so that process I taught to a lot of women, and I loved that they learned this new skill because now they went from reacting to responding. So they slowed their roll a bit. But I also felt that this wasn't the end of the line. Like there's more to it than that. And also I saw that sometimes it didn't really work. So, they would come back and say that blew up or that didn't work. And so I knew that there's more than just reacting and responding. There's got to be something beyond that because I felt like I was missing it as a coach. And now that we're working in partnership, I know that there's more to it. And that is really what I want to pose to you today, Suzanne. What is your understanding of what's beyond nonviolent communication?
Ooh. Okay, so I
Yeah.
have not I've only I took it was almost like a partial class. It was one of those online things and they were talking about the nonviolent communication and it's
Mm-hmm.
really valuable, like so
Mm-hmm.
valuable.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was probably one of those women that would try to use it.
Uh-huh.
And what I found, this was what I found, and this
Okay.
was years ago. What
Yeah.
I found is it doesn't matter how many times you genuinely are telling somebody, this is affecting me. This is what
Mm-hmm.
my needs are. If they're
Mm-hmm.
unable to, as a receiver, to receive that and to also be in harmony with you and exchange with you, it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't work.
Yeah.
it
Yes.
it will always end up in some form of war, whether it's the
Yeah.
war within myself, which is
Mm-hmm.
okay, I just know that I can't talk to them about this thing, and then
Yeah.
I whatever close
Yeah.
down,
Mm-hmm.
or I'm like, I said it 10 times, didn't you hear me the first 10 times? Then it
Yeah.
becomes that. So
Yes.
it starts, it's almost like this. I'm getting an image right now.
Okay.
It's almost like this spectrum of whisper to scream.
Oh, okay.
And the scream becomes violent
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
because the whispers, the genuine, hey, this is what I need. Hey, this is what I need. Hey,
Mm-hmm.
this is what I need,
Mm-hmm.
is not received because they want you to have needs that they are able to meet. And so they might try to fix with all the things that they're doing instead of just giving you what you need. Like
Mm-hmm.
if a person, say like a woman, this happens a lot with women.
Yeah.
It's like I just need my my friend to just hear what I have to say. I don't want them to fix me. So
Mm-hmm.
I might say to them, nonviolent communication is, "Hey, I
Mm-hmm.
just want to vent. Is that all right?" And they're like, "Oh
Mm-hmm.
yeah." And then you vent and then they're like, "Well, have you ever tried da da da?" It's like like the heart rate starts going,
Yeah.
the like
Uh-huh. Yeah.
energy starts rolling. It's like no, I actually um it was really important for me to just I just needed to say this.
Mm-hmm.
And and it's like usually a friend will be like, "Oh, got it." Right? So
Yeah.
that spectrum of whisper is like, "Hey, I've got this need." And then the next is almost like a couple Richter shades further, like,
Mm-hmm.
"I said I don't need you to fix me."
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
But then over and over, what happens in certain dynamics is they don't hear, so it turns into a violent scream of
Mm-hmm.
just like ah,
Yeah.
right? That
Yes.
happens a lot.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And it's more often than not because both parties don't have the real skill set of pure empathy,
Mm.
pure listening, pure slowing down nervous system regulation, right?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
all these pure skills
Mm-hmm.
that nobody, unless you are like doing this in partnership with a willing participant on an ongoing basis, will ever get to nonviolent communication. So when you're
Yeah.
asking about what's beyond nonviolent
Mm-hmm.
communication, I'm only guessing that
Mm-hmm.
it's these other real things, which is your nervous system,
Yeah.
which is high levels of empathy,
Mm-hmm.
which is real slowing down and listening
Mm-hmm.
so that the person on the other end is like, "Why are you screaming at me?" And the other person is saying, "Well, because you didn't hear me those 10 times." How come that person on this end that was saying it 10 times kept saying it?
Yeah. What's that
Right?
all
Like, because
about?
that would be my problem.
Yeah.
That's
Right.
my problem.
Yeah.
Why did I
Yeah.
say it 10 times?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I got issues. Right?
So is it like we're trying to send a message to somebody else, something that's important to us? Are I'm just a little curious about that example there. When you're saying those things, you're saying you have a need, but is that even the right signal to be sending somebody? Because that night might not be appropriate. I don't know if that makes sense, that
Yeah,
question.
every
Yeah.
situation. Well, that depends
Yeah.
on the situation, really.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
If you're in an intimate relationship with somebody
Mm-hmm.
and they are consistently being unavailable, like unavailable all the time,
Yeah.
their presence is there,
Mm-hmm.
but they're checked out,
Yeah.
there is going to be a strong signal that they are sending to
Mm-hmm.
another empathetic body on the other end that's like,
Yeah.
clearly, this person is not here.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So then
Mm-hmm.
there's the signal, and there's like this dysfunctional
Mm.
static that is going on with the energetics,
Ooh, I like the static. That is
right?
exactly how it feels, right? You're kind of
Feel
confused. It feels
it's
icky.
yeah,
Yeah, and
on
it's
both
there.
ends.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Mm-hmm.
why it's the skill sets need to occur, but it has to be both parties that are
Yeah.
willing to really go into that tension on
Mm-hmm.
an ongoing basis. And with probably with somebody who is probably more skilled at the two people that are just button heads all day long, right?
Yes.
But I
Yeah.
do also know that it's also a willingness,
Ah,
because if
yes.
somebody is always thinking that person's violently communicating, but they
Mm-hmm.
don't see that their shutdown or their lack of care, or not
Mm-hmm.
lack of care, lack of empathy,
Mm-hmm.
is actually a really strong signal that says that other person should not be safe and should not be trying to receive safety from that individual.
Oh my gosh. Now that was a huge aha moment for me because now we're talking about what the other person's signal might be, and that might not be the appropriate person to be trying to have that exchange with. And sometimes we don't know that until we try all the things and we kind of end up on the road of like, oh, that's the signal, and there's nothing I can do about it.
Yeah, so this is
Yeah.
where my empathy radar
Mm-hmm.
goes off.
Okay.
Is I don't know if somebody is unable, like if they're saying one thing, they're like, oh no, I'm empathetic. No, I hear you. No, I love
Mm-hmm.
you. I'm this, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But if their actions are checked out and void
Mm-hmm.
and disconnected, I don't know that unless there's language that matches the actions.
Yes.
I don't know
Right.
that
Mm-hmm.
because people, I think people are really, we're doing our best to be honest,
Mm-hmm.
but it comes out in dishonesty, in dissonance, in
Mm-hmm.
incongruency of saying one thing, oh yeah, I want to have nonviolent communication,
Mm-hmm.
but people don't realize there's a whole spectrum of what violence actually means.
Oh.
Because in my world,
Uh-huh.
non-complicity
Uh-huh.
is violent.
Yeah.
Letting something go is violent.
Yes.
Letting somebody letting somebody suffer when you have the ability to hold them or connect with them
Mm-hmm.
feels like to the other person a violent act.
Yeah. Yes.
So communication, it's not just verbally. It
Mm-hmm.
is it's
Mm.
sensory. It's
Yes.
it's verbal, but that's not where it ends.
Yeah.
And a lot of people misinterpret language as the whole picture.
Uh-huh.
There is more to the picture. And it's
Yes.
easy to have nice words and say nice things and put a
Uh-huh.
shiny, happy face on, but
Yep.
be like stabbing somebody in the back
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
unconsciously.
Right, right. I know we've all been with a person who is trying to smooth something over and you know they're lying, like they're not there, And I love this idea of what feels violent because energetically and emotionally, there's so many things going on between humans. And I think a lot of people say on face value, it doesn't look like anything's wrong, but you just sense that dissonance or that disruption or something is nagging at you and you might not have words for it. But I think it's that thing that is happening between those two people is it's not in alignment,
Right. And this
you
is why
know?
we still have war on
Hmm.
planet Earth,
Yep. Yep.
because of the conflict within,
Hmm.
and then the conflict within relationships,
Hmm.
and then it goes out and out and out. And so on the
Yeah.
world stage there's going to be war so
Yep.
long as there is conflict within the home,
Hmm.
within a human. Usually it starts with a human. If you have conflict, if your words and your actions don't line up, there's
Yep.
going to be internal conflict, and
Hmm.
then you're going to play that out with another person outside of you, and then there's
Mhm.
war, right? And then
Yeah.
so on and so on and so on.
Yeah.
And a lot of times it gets down to the point where it's comes down to judgment.
Mm. Oh.
Judgment. Because when you don't have language, when somebody say has language and somebody doesn't have language, but then they're judging each other based on what they're experiencing. So if
Mm-hmm.
there's no language coming my way, I could judge that as whatever. And
Mm-hmm.
then if there's language going at somebody and they can judge that as whatever,
Yes, right.
judgment is what causes war,
Mm.
right? Because
Mm-hmm.
underneath the actually it's like there's a lot of this is a whole other level. This is like
Okay.
going into the
Mm-hmm.
deep dive.
Yeah.
If there is any shame,
Mm.
there will be judgment.
Mm-hmm.
You will see it. That's going to be the symptom is
Mm.
judgment. If there's
Wow.
any kind of I'm feeling shameful in this situation, in this communication, I'm feeling, that they just dismissed me, or
Uh-huh.
I'm feeling like they just yelled at me and criticized me. There is
Mm-hmm.
a lot of shame under that that
Mm-hmm.
then produces this judgment and
Mm-hmm.
then all out war.
Yeah. And that's violent.
That's
Yeah.
violent, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So that is where, I mean, if you really want to get like beyond nonviolent communication, you
Mm-hmm.
got to start talking about shame.
Mm-hmm.
You got
Oh,
to start
wow.
talking about like,
Wow. I love that it goes there because, I mean, nonviolent communication is about conflict. That's the whole reason why it was built to help people with conflict. And I love that underneath that, there's judgment and there's shame. And that is probably what was still happening with those folks that I was working with, is all those layers were in there. So it didn't matter what skill they had. It wasn't going to change anything.
yeah,
Yeah.
if they don't resolve the shame
Hmm.
on both parties, and
Hmm.
you can, let's go big.
Okay.
Let's go war in the world,
Mm.
shaming the other side, right?
Yeah.
Dehumanizing the other side. Because
Hmm.
when you dehumanize, you're shaming the other side.
Mm.
Therefore, you can say war is good
Mm. Wow.
because you're judging. You become the judger, right? So you're judging who's right and who's wrong.
Hmm.
So you're justifying war.
Wow. And we do
That,
that in our homes every day with the people we live with.
yep.
Yeah.
And dynamics between men and women, it's like you can't fight judgment.
Hmm.
You can't fight shame.
No.
It never
No.
wins.
It never wins.
It always
Wow.
loses, and
Yeah.
it always becomes conflict that is beyond what is possible, and then it can go into all nuclear war,
Wow.
right?
Wow.
That's where we're at.
Hmm.
It's shaming people,
Hmm.
dehumanizing people,
Hmm.
lack of empathy.
Hmm.
It's all logic. It's
Mm.
all logical, intellectual part of the brain that tries to control and, this is right, this is wrong,
Yeah.
judgment, 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 judgment.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's violent communication,
Wow. Wow. That's what's beyond.
I think.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think.
Wow.
I don't know because
Hmm.
I don't live in a world where there's no war.
Hmm. Yeah. We don't know that. And our
So
ancestors don't know that.
they don't know that either.
Yeah. Yeah.
So until everyone within themselves resolves the conflict, resolves the shame, resolves the judgment within self to
Hmm.
be in community with others and see their humanity and
Hmm.
not other them and dehumanize them and
Hmm.
dismiss them and,
Hmm.
all the things. That is the only thing that will break us all open and our hearts all open so that we can be in community and not just have to put the dividing line and be like, off with your head, bye
Hmm.
bye,
Or you leave now.
right?
Yeah,
Or
right. Yeah,
war
whatever
or
it is.
whatever it
Yeah.
is, right?
Yeah, yeah.
That's in my, I don't know, but I know that that sounds like a pie in the sky.
Yes.
And at the
Yes.
same time, I see it.
Yeah.
I can see a world. where we can not have violent and still have healthy friction, healthy
Mm-hmm.
tension,
Mm-hmm.
healthy conflict.
Mm-hmm.
For sure, because we need that for
Yeah.
creation.
Yeah, we do. We do. Yeah. That's the positive side of that piece. And I think we
Yeah.
always just label it as bad, but it's like, no, we do need friction and we will have conflict.
Yeah.
But if we approach it from all those aspects of what you were sharing, then there's a way forward. And it doesn't have to, it has no energy of violence. It has no energy of judgment and shame. And, I think a lot of people think, well, that's never going to happen. But I'm going to say it is happening. And there are people that are doing that. And we love to walk people through that piece.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Hmm.
that's where the logic meets the intuition.
Mm.
The
Yeah.
signaling is both. It's
Yeah.
not, it is the both. It is logical and it is intuitive. But right
Hmm.
now we have a really disproportionate logical mind running
Hmm.
the show.
Yep.
And it's saturated,
Saturating.
saturated and saturated.
Oh my gosh.
It's so logical that I can't think straight.
There you go. It's
It's
messing you up.
when logic
Hmm.
floods the system,
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
the signaling is the blending of both
Hmm.
and.
Yes. Yeah. It's the perfect level of how to communicate
Yeah.
when you're in that space. It
Yeah,
changes communication
absolutely.
profoundly. Yeah. And I think that's
Sending,
what, yeah,
receiving.
yeah, exactly. And when we start to really work that piece, we start to see that there is a different way. I personally have experienced that.
Yeah.
And it's really amazing. And a lot of times it disappears within the awareness and the clarity.
Yeah.
It doesn't need to write itself out all the time.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Sending and receiving, getting into that infinity,
Hmm.
the signal code.
Yep.
Yeah. Let's do this again.
Okay.